For 30 years, doctors have been prescribing a pill that saves lives but causes unexplained pain in millions. 47 million Americans take statins to prevent heart attacks and strokes. But 1 in 5 stops because of muscle pain nobody could explain. In January 2026, scientists finally figured out why. Chapter 1. The pain. Imagine taking a pill your doctor swears will save your life, and within a few weeks your legs start aching. Not the kind of ache from a hard workout. This is different, persistent, bilateral. Both sides of your body, like something's wrong deep in the muscle tissue itself. You tell your doctor, they tell you to stop the statin. The pain goes away. They prescribe a different statin. Same thing, another one, same result. Now you're stuck. High cholesterol, high risk of heart attack, but every pill meant to help you makes you feel worse. That's statin-induced myopathy. The scientific term is statin-associated muscle symptoms, or SAMS. 9% of people worldwide experience it. In clinical trials, about 5% report muscle pain. In the real world, that number jumps to 17 to 30%. 60% of people who stop taking statins cite muscle symptoms as the reason. For some, it's mild discomfort. For others, it's debilitating. And for 30 years, nobody knew why it happened. Not just mild mystery either. Complete scientific puzzle. The drugs work brilliantly in the liver, blocking cholesterol production. But somehow they're also doing something to muscles, something painful, something nobody could see. Chapter 2. The risk. Statins save lives. That's not marketing, that's data. After 5 years of statin therapy, your chance of death drops by 1.2%. Your chance of heart attack drops by 2.6%. Stroke risk drops by 0.8%. Those numbers sound small, but scale them across tens of millions of people, and you're talking about tens of thousands of preventable heart attacks and strokes every year. Statins work by blocking an enzyme called HMG-CoA reductase. This enzyme makes cholesterol in your liver. Statins bind to it 10,000 times more strongly than the natural substrate. When your liver can't make cholesterol, it pulls LDL cholesterol out of your blood instead. Your arteries clear, plaque stabilizes, inflammation drops, heart attack risk plummets. The problem is, only 35% of eligible Americans actually take statins. Of those who had a previous heart attack or stroke, only 68% get treatment, despite 100% being eligible under guidelines. Why? Side effects. Specifically, muscle pain. The treatment gap is massive. If everyone who needed statins took them according to guidelines, major cardiovascular events in the U.S. could drop by 27%. But that only works if people can tolerate the drugs, and 1 in 5 can't. Chapter 3. The mystery. Same drug, same dose. One person feels fine. The next person can barely walk. For 30 years, nobody knew why. Researchers found clues. Older patients had higher rates of muscle pain. People on multiple medications were more susceptible. Some statins seemed worse than others. Simvastatin caused more problems than rosuvastatin, but the mechanism remained invisible. They tried everything. Blood tests for creatine kinase, an enzyme released when muscle breaks down. Often normal, even in people with severe pain. Muscle biopsies sometimes showed damage, sometimes didn't. Theories about cholesterol depletion in muscle cells couldn't prove it. The unpredictability made it worse. You couldn't tell who would get muscle pain before prescribing. Doctors resorted to trial and error. Try one statin. If it causes pain, try another. Hope for the best. Some people tried 3, 4, 5 different statins and got pain from every single one. Others switched statins and felt fine. The variation seemed random. It wasn't, but nobody knew that yet. Chapter 4. The Discovery. December 15th, 2025, a study published in the Journal of Clinical Investigation. The breakthrough. Scientists used cryo-electron microscopy to see what was happening at the molecular level. They found it. Statins bind to a protein in muscle cells called ryanodine receptor type 1, RYR1 for short. It's a calcium channel. Normally it releases calcium when your muscle needs to contract, then snaps shut. But when statins bind to it, the channel doesn't close properly. And here's the key detail. 3 statin molecules bind together in a triplet. They cluster inside a specific pocket of the receptor. Together, they pry the channel open. One molecule wouldn't do it, two wouldn't do it, three do. Sequential binding, progressive destabilization. The channel stays partially open. Calcium leaks continuously. Different statins bind differently. Simvastatin and atorvastatin, the lipophilic statins, penetrate muscle cells easily. They bind strongly to RYR1. That's why they cause more myopathy. Pravastatin and rosuvastatin are hydrophilic. They require active transport into cells, less muscle penetration, weaker binding, lower myopathy rates. For 30 years, scientists assumed statins only worked in the liver. Turns out, they reach muscle tissue too, and they interact directly with muscle proteins. That was the missing piece. If you're finding this interesting, consider subscribing. I drop videos like this regularly. Anyway, back to it. Chapter 5. The Mechanism. Imagine a dam with a crack. Water seeps through constantly. Eventually, everything downstream floods. That's what's happening in your muscle cells when statins bind to RYR1. Normally, calcium is stored tightly in a compartment called the sarcoplasmic reticulum. When your muscle needs to contract, RYR1 opens briefly. Calcium floods out. Muscle contracts. Channel closes. Calcium gets pumped back into storage. Tight cycle. Perfect control. When statins force the channel to stay partially open, calcium leaks continuously into areas where it's not supposed to be. In the right place, in the right amount, calcium triggers contraction. In the wrong place, in excess, calcium triggers destruction. The leaked calcium does two things. First, it weakens muscle fibers directly. Excess calcium disrupts the contractile proteins. Your muscles literally can't generate force properly. Second, it activates enzymes that break down muscle tissue. Proteases, normally dormant. Activated by calcium, they start chewing up muscle proteins. On top of that, excess calcium messes with mitochondria, the power plants of your cells. Mitochondria can't function when flooded with calcium. Energy production drops. You feel fatigued, your muscles ache, and it's continuous. As long as the statin is bound to RYR1, the leak doesn't stop. Days turn into weeks. The damage accumulates. That's why the pain doesn't appear immediately. It builds over time. Quick reminder, if you're enjoying this, subscribing really helps out. Now, where were we? Chapter 6, the genetic link. A single letter change in your DNA, C instead of T, and the same pill that helps your neighbor could cripple you. The gene is called SLCO1B1. It encodes a transporter protein that moves statins from your blood into your liver for metabolism. The variant is called RS41499056, also known as the star 5 allele. If you have the T version, the normal version, the transporter works fine. Statins get pulled into the liver quickly. They do their job and get metabolized. Lower blood levels, less reaches your muscles. If you have the C version, the variant, the transporter doesn't work properly. Statins stay in your bloodstream longer, higher blood levels, more reaches your muscles, more binds to RYR1, more calcium leak, more pain. Here's the scale of risk. If you carry one copy of the C variant, your odds of myopathy increase 4.5 times. If you carry two copies, your odds increase nearly 17 times. That's massive. Genome-wide studies found this association with a p-value of 4 times 10 to the negative ninth. That's not a weak correlation. That's a screaming signal. The effect varies by statin. Simvastatin shows the strongest association. The genetic variant matters most for simvastatin and barely matters for pravastatin or rosuvastatin. Why? Because those drugs don't rely on that transporter as heavily. They're processed differently. The discovery means muscle pain isn't random. It's genetic. Predictable, testable. Chapter 7, the fix. The solution isn't giving up on statins. It's matching the right statin to the right person. Option 1. Switch statins. Rosuvastatin has the most favorable ratio of cholesterol lowering to muscle problems. In one study, 61 patients who couldn't tolerate other statins switched to rosuvastatin. 60 of them tolerated it fine. Only one stopped due to muscle pain. Fluvastatin is another good option, lower potency but better tolerated. Option 2. Adjust the dose. Lower dose. Alternate day dosing. Even once-weekly dosing works for some people. The goal is to keep blood statin levels low enough to avoid muscle problems while still lowering cholesterol enough to protect the heart. Option 3. Genetic testing. Test for the SLCO1B1 variant before prescribing. If you're a carrier, avoid simvastatin. Start with pravastatin or rosuvastatin instead. Clinical trials show this works. Patients who got genetic testing had better cholesterol control than those who didn't. 20 milligrams per deciliter LDL reduction versus 15 in usual care. 90% of patients completed pharmacogenomics testing when offered. People want to know. Option 4. Combination therapy. Use a moderate intensity statin with ezetimibe, a non-statin drug that blocks cholesterol absorption in the gut. Lower statin dose means less muscle exposure. Ezetimibe picks up the slack. Effective, especially in older patients. Option 5. The future. RYR1 stabilizers. Drugs that prevent the calcium leak without blocking cholesterol production. Essentially, you'd take a statin plus a protective co-therapy. The statin does its job in the liver. The stabilizer keeps your muscle channels closed. No leak, no pain. Still in development, but the discovery makes it possible. You can't design a solution until you understand the problem. Chapter 8. The future. A 30-year mystery. Solved? But this isn't just about understanding the past. It's about preventing pain in the future. Right now, 47 million Americans take statins. Even if this discovery only explains muscle pain in 1 or 2%, that's nearly 1 million people. But it's bigger than that. The discovery reframes statin myopathy as a receptor-mediated calcium release disorder, not a vague metabolic problem. That changes how researchers think about it. It opens the door to designing statins that don't bind to RYR1, new molecules that lower cholesterol without touching muscle calcium channels. It enables genetic testing to guide prescriptions. Instead of trial and error, doctors could test your DNA at age 40 and know which statins to avoid for the rest of your life. It creates a pathway to RYR1 stabilizing drugs, protecting muscle tissue while preserving cardiovascular benefits. And it might apply to other drug-induced myopathies, other medications that cause muscle pain through mechanisms nobody understands yet. The same approach, cryo-electron microscopy, revealing molecular interactions, could solve those mysteries too. The treatment gap is enormous. 78 million Americans are eligible for cholesterol-lowering medication. Only 35% take it. Many of the missing 65% tried statins and stopped because of muscle pain. If personalized prescriptions could bring even half of them back, we'd prevent thousands of heart attacks and strokes every year. The key to your heart health might just be written in your DNA. 30 years to find the answer. But now that we have it, the future looks different. Better statins, smarter prescriptions, fewer people in pain, more people protected. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss the next one. See you.